Comrades, what if I told you this seemingly innocent line from Mavuika is darker than you could possibly imagine?
Such fragments are known as ancient moon's remnants, relics of secret source technology from the era of the ancient dragons.
The horrific implications behind this devastating line as it relates to the deaths of the three Moon Sisters will be explained shortly, but before we can get to that, we must go back. Because my friends, in case you've missed it, there's a new big woo within the Fatui, and it's the Doctor. Now, whether or not you want a guy like him at the helm of your ship is clearly a call the Tsaritsa made long ago, but it's only now it comes to fruition given Il Capitano, the captain, is out of commission. Prior to his merging with the Lord of the Knights, the captain was once a man who valued the stated mission goal of the Fatui, capturing the gnosis above all else, even remarking at Signora's funeral,
Loafalta's sacrifice is a great pity. Her loss shall not hinder our progress. But Dottore, what of Scaramouche and the gnosis from Inazuma?
I mean, shit, at least the bitch got results. Fuck you got. Nothing. Captain gave it one hearty, true and tried efforts, and then immediately gave up, placing his honor before the Fatui, which I will always salute him for, which is, it's admirable. You guys want to know how we should be on high alert about the next region? When we asked Mavuika questions about the next stop on our journey, she looked us dead in our face, name-dropped Snezhnaya, and proceeded to tell us one thing and one thing only about Snezhnaya. When you get to Snezhnaya, you're gonna fight the Fatui! You don't fucking say! I won't lie, man. I contemplated murder in that moment. Nothing about the geography, nation dynamics, and then more importantly, the Tsaritsa herself. It's just, yeah, get ready to learn Russian, pal. I mean, nigga. So if I'm being honest, that looks doomed. No, instead, Mavuika proceeds to provide information about another region entirely, with another harbinger relating to Teyvat's false sky.
On a related note, I've acquired some new intel about the fragment that suddenly appeared in the sky. Such fragments are known as ancient moon's remnants, relics of secret source technology from the era of the ancient dragons. Coincidentally, a small squad of Fatui infiltrated our borders around the same time it appeared. Our investigation revealed them to be the subordinates of the Doctor. Their stronghold is in Nod-Krai, a land with a long history not far from Snezhnaya.
Well, there's certainly a lot there. First things first, seems people heard the word project and Fatui sorta link the two in this context. I mean, Project Stuzha. Me personally, I'm not entirely convinced for two big reasons. The first, Project Stuzha was already a thing well before the ancient moon's remnants appeared on Teyvat, as both Pantalone and Pinocchio had been working on it well in advance.
I only know what Father has told us, which is that it's something the Rooster and Regrader have been working on together. Apparently, it has to do with the Fatui's strategic plan for the future.
So barring these two have the gift of divine foresight, and knew Natlan's battle with the Abyss would come to a head, resulting in the Pyro Archon invoking a 1,000-year-old deal between the first Pyro Archon and the Shade of Death to use the Shade of Death's power, striking at the Abyss, but also breaking the fake sky and revealing the remnants. I don't see how Project Stuzha could relate to the matter. What's more, the stated goal, whether you believe it or not, of Project Stuzha is that it's about the Fatui's plan for the future, and the House of the Hearth is said to be heavily involved. This is odd, given the Doctor and the current House of the Hearth don't exactly, get along. Finally, Project Stuzha seems to relate to Snezhnaya, whilst the Doctor and his cronies seem to operate out of Nod-Krai, which, while close to Snezhnaya, is an independent region. To me, the whole thing seems to be the workings of a mad scientist hell-bent on his own personal goals, which he has very clearly in the past placed above the Fatui. The Doctor doesn't care for the Fatui, nor does he care for the gnosis. All he cares about are his experiments. And to me, that's what this most likely is. The Doctor simply being the Doctor. Now with that out of the way, we can explore the dark truth behind Mavuika's words. Mavuika stated the rocks in the sky are ancient moon remnants, and that they're relics of secret source technology, This is interesting, because this seems to imply that what we're looking at here has nothing to do with the Moon Sisters. Secret Source technology, for those unaware, was the tech of the ancient dragons that ruled before the heavenly principles arrived unto Teyvat. That's right, before the sovereign of sovereigns came to this broken world, it seems the dragons really loved tech, and were so good at it, they may not have been confined to the rock they hailed from. Quote, "It is said that in the era of barbarism, before humans knew how to count their days or to weave their tales, the mighty dragons who then roamed the Soulfire Plains had a word for a construct that traversed the pitch-black darkness between the stars. In their long-forgotten language, they called such creations void shuttles, blazing javelins that could pierce anything, even a veil thick enough to enshroud an entire world." This last line is of utmost import. Being able to break the veil provides even more ammo for Nibelung, having literally left the world and come back with forbidden knowledge, but that's a story for another day. We've actually encountered two secret source technology enemies, and both their descriptions write, quote, "An ancient machine used for manufacturing, it is said to be a production machine produced by a long-lost ancient civilization," and, quote, "An ancient machine used in object collection, it is said that these machines were created by a long-lost civilization." So as we can see, the dragons were incredibly advanced. Their secret source technology let them do almost anything. So for Mavuika to call the fragments in the sky Moon's remnants, but more importantly, relics of this secret source technology, indicates they aren't natural satellites, but rather dragon-made. This isn't the corpse of a Moon Sister, this is a piece of tech that may have been the moon to the dragons, and its unnatural origins are supported by the markings on the object. Regardless, it was obviously destroyed in the war with the heavenly principles. While some people may look at this and see it as a sign the Moon Sisters once lived with the dragons, to me, it does the complete opposite, and what's more, it may have provided a reason as to why the Moon Sisters killed one another. These moons appear to have been built by the dragons long ago. They aren't naturally occurring in Teyvat, but one thing's always bothered me. Let's say these moons predate the existence of the heavenly principles and were destroyed in the war when it descended unto this world. The heavenly principles spent 400 years after the war terraforming Teyvat. Why would it leave this junk in the sky? Maybe because it had to. Maybe it's because these moons are vital to the upkeep of Teyvat, and perhaps when the heavenly principles came to Teyvat, they realized this. Maybe they couldn't remove the actual dragon-made moons because the world of Teyvat is simply too reliant on it. But at the same time, to leave them untouched in the sky for all to see would be to court rebellion, to allow humanity to see beyond the facade and question the authority of the divine. So instead, the heavenly principles may have simply chosen to cast the moons behind the veil, all the while appointing their own moon goddesses who will act as the moon for those who look up at the night sky. We know the fake sky is reflective of the real sky that we can't see, and we also know it's meant to weaken the effects of things such as moons. As a witch once told us, quote, "In our world, the stars are the heavenly strings by which humans are bound, but in other worlds, the subjects of astrological study are the solar ecliptic energies, the various lunar energies of the satellites, the will energy of the celestial rulers of the planets, the scattered interference energy of distant stars, and the dark energy that suffuses the pitch-black cosmos. Of course, it's not like these things don't exert influence on our own planets. They have merely been greatly weakened by a giant sky shroud. My friends, even gods can be deceived. Doesn't it seem odd to anyone that Teyvat was completely unaffected when it lost 2 moons? The Moon Sisters, bound by the veil, believed themselves to be true. They danced their appointed rotations, basking in the reverence of a world that knew no better, but the cruel truth is that they were nothing but ornaments. The real sky, the real moons of Teyvat, were all hidden, their power shackled, their voices silenced. Everyone was none the wiser. But then something happened. The second who came in an act of blasphemous defiance tore through the veil. The heavens split open, and the veil was no more. And for the very first time, the Moon Sisters were confronted with a revelation. They saw the true night. They saw the real moon, and it wasn't them. Their purpose, their worship, their divine status, all of it had been a charade. They were not the moons, but merely actors in a grand tragedy, penned
by the Winged One, the Master of the Four Shades, the Sovereign of Sovereigns, the Primordial One, the Progenitor God, hurling from beyond the stars!
This then pushed them to madness, and then death. Boy, that'd be a dark turn, huh? A dark turn for the story. That aside, the reason the Doctor of all people would be interested in these remnants is quite simple. They are ancient technology relating to the false sky he's been interested in. This is the same guy who was uncovering ancient khaenriah technology in Jurabad. Quotes, Zandik was attracted by the ancient machines left behind by some civilization here. Yeah, seems like an open and shut case.